Hey guys, Eternize here. Hardstyle is hard to produce. So in this video, I just want to show you how to make 5 layers that always work. We're going to be using Silent 1 for this tutorial, but I'm going to be making it so simple that you can easily transfer this to any synthesizer you have at hand. We're going to be making 5 different sounds here, but if you want 400 of the absolute highest quality presets for hardstyle production, I suggest you check out my lead pack. You won't find better presets in the industry. That's it, 5 sounds from scratch, let's go. The first layer we're going to make is going to be the top lead. So in Silent 1, the startup preset is a single oscillator, one voice saw wave. And in many cases for a top lead, that's exactly what you want to start with. Now I'm just going to activate the mono legato and the portamento because in this melody we're using glide notes. So mono legato will make it so that only one note can be active at a time, and the portamento controls how long the glide from one note to another will be. Now, the way that top leads work for the most part is by injecting it with LFO. So we don't really care that we start with the most boring sound in the world in our single voice saw patch. The complexity really comes from LFO. LFO can be used in many ways, but one way is to make the pitch oscillate up and down really fast. And so we can make our boring saw patch instead sound like this. And from here we can use different wavetables. We can even bring the second LFO into play. So top leads are essentially just very simple patches but processed with LFO. Of course you can continue the processing with things like distortion and you can bring in additional oscillators, but this is the basic premise for a top lead sound. The next layer is a chord layer. Chord layers are really just supersaws. And what is a supersaw? It is a saw patch with a lot of voices and a bit of detune. Now, we could stop here and say that this is our chord layer, and honestly, you would be just fine with this. But there are ways to improve this in the context of a hardstyle lead. So in hardstyle leads, we want density, and one way to increase density is to simply add more material. This can be done with more layers, but in our chord patch, we can also activate the second oscillator and bring that into play. So to add density to our existing chord patch, we can make a second supersaw, but this time make a slight variation in the detune. The reason we want a different detune or just different settings in general is because we want to avoid stacking artifacts. You see, if we have the exact same settings across multiple oscillators or multiple layers, the waveforms will closely align but not 100%, so we will experience phasing. So if we just make slight variations, the two waveforms will be sufficiently different and we can avoid the artifacts. Hey guys, I want to give this to you for free. It's a mixing ebook that's designed to bring more structure to your mixing sessions. It lists all the important subjects in mixing, so you won't miss an important mixing decision ever again. People say it brings a lot of value and it's completely free, so check it out if you feel like you want that extra reassurance when you're mixing. The next layer is going to be our low end, and for this we want to once again make a supersaw on our first oscillator. Making a supersaw for a low end layer brings a lot of width, a lot of density in the bottom end, and also you have this nice grit and grain in the top end in case you want to use that. Once again, you probably want to increase the density by bringing in an additional oscillator, and remember to make the settings differ slightly. Now, for myself, I like to leave in the high frequencies and work that in with my lead, but you could also choose to filter it out and go for a more Reese bass inspired low end. In order to do that, we want to activate the low pass filter and then kick up the drive to slightly saturate the signal. Now from here you can play with the cutoff, the resonance and the filter slope. Next layer we're gonna make is a low end layer for any hardstyle kicktail, either to replace a low end or to build a kicktail around. The first thing we do is that we load up a square wave. This is going to be our fundamental frequency and all of the tall harmonics or all the odd harmonics trailing off the fundamental. Next, on the second oscillator, we're going to load up a saw wave. This is going to be all the even harmonics to fill out the space in between the existing ones. Now, at this point, the amplitude of both the even and odd harmonics are at an equal level. So what we want to do is reduce the volume of the saw oscillator, because this will decrease the even harmonics and give us the pattern of a hardstyle kicktail. From here, let's filter out the high end and add some drive to the signal. And just like that, this sound now very closely resembles a low end of a hardstyle kick. Alright, the last one is going to be Whitenoise Sweeps. If you're tired of not being able to find a fitting Whitenoise sweep because the length is not fitting, it develops too fast or too slow or whatever, they never seem to fit right, well, how about you just make it yourself? That way you can always make sure it fits. To make a Whitenoise sweep, all we gotta do is first load up a Whitenoise wavetable. Then we want to increase the voices to at least 2 in order for it to be stereo. That's the base of our sound. Now, to make the sweeping motion, we're gonna make that with cutoff filters. We have different options here depending on which type of sweep we wanna make. We can include the low end at all times, include the high end at all times, or we can make a sweep where both filters follow the cutoff. The bandpass is the most universal, so let's go with that one. Now, when we open and close the cutoff, it's like a filter swiping across white noise. And this is exactly what a Whitenoise sweep is. Now, we can do things like adding resonance to the cutoff point, and that will give it a characteristic high-pitched resonance on top of the Whitenoise sweep. Alright guys, that's how you make 5 absolute stables in hardstyle. Don't forget, if you have a new demo, upload it to my website. We do occasional demo reviews. It's a good time and there's prizes to win, so go ahead and upload through the link below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.